Hello YouTube, this is Pastor Green. Today we're doing another Bible study. It's going to be Genesis chapter 25. You can always email me at godsohman@gmail.com. Remember, this is a YouTube Bible study. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. Also like and comment. By subscribing and clicking the bell, it'll let you know whenever I post a new video. And also like and comment. That lets YouTube know that my videos are getting seen and it's getting interactions. And if you don't have anything to comment, just say good job, thank you. Just something that way you get to comment on there. We're going to start in Genesis 25, verse 1. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Kedar, and she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shuah. And the Midians are actually pretty popular in the Bible. They basically are, the people that if you were bad to God, then you would be punished, and they would usually be the punishment. They would send them out to come get you. In Genesis 37:28, it said, "Then there passed by the Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph to Egypt." And you can actually see right here where Midian is. It's right next to the Gulf of Aqaba, and that's actually the place where Moses went when he was escaping Egypt. Exodus 2:15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. So you can actually see that Moses left Egypt. He went across the Sinai Peninsula and went to Midian. You could actually see right here the crossing of the Gulf of Aqaba right here in the Red Sea to the right. This is actually the dry riverbed called the Wadi. It leads to a large beach where Moses was trapped until God parted the Red Sea, which you see that in the background. This is actually an overhead view right here. You can actually see right here the Gulf of Aqaba and also the Red Sea. This is right here the area that he actually crossed over the Red Sea. You can see the small little beach right there on the corner right next to the arrow. This is the beach that I was talking about. There's actually a pillar right there, and that's where they actually signified crossing the Red Sea. There was a pillar there. There was a pillar on the other side, and right there, that's the dry riverbed. But the children of Israel came through the mountains to this great big beach. And this pillar was erected by King Solomon in 1000 BC to commemorate the crossing of the Red Sea. And it was found by Ron Wyatt. And you can actually see how big it is, this scale right there. And people always ask, how deep is this water? Well, the really interesting part is in the Gulf of Aqaba. It's about a mile deep in many places. But there's a small little area right there that actually has a inlet where people could cross the Red Sea. It's right here in the picture. You can see the little beach and then the crossing right there to Saudi Arabia. And there's a close-up of the actual place in the water right there where Moses and the Israelites would have passed. And then later, God would have took both sides of the water and smashed it into the Israelites to kill them. And actually, at the bottom of the ocean, you find a bunch of skeletons of horses and humans, and also chariot wheels. Exodus 3:1 says, "And Moses kept the flocks of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountains of God, even to Hebron." Numbers 22:7. "And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with their reward and divination into their hand, and they came unto Balaam and spoke unto the words of Balak." So again, it's mentioned Midian and Moab. Numbers 31. "And Moses spake unto the people, saying, Arm yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites, and avenge the Lord of Midian. And they warred against the Midianites, and the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew the males, and they slew the king of Midian." Judges 6:1. "And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years." Judges 7:7. "And the Lord God said unto Gideon, By 300 men that laughed, I will save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let the other people go every man to his place." We're going back to Genesis 25, verse 3. And Jokshan begot Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashram and Lahum and Lemian, and the sons of Midian, Epal and Epper and Hancock and Ibda and Elian. And these were the children of Keturah. And you can actually see right here the Midianites and Cush and all different places that you could see the Semitic people. This is basically the people of Ishmael. The Ishmael settled in Shur, and the Ishmaelites is basically the Midianites. And Mount Sinai was actually named Shur in the different numbers in Exodus. And Hagar, Ishmael, and Sinai were all in Arabia. And Arabia is another name for Kedar. So you can actually see right here all the different places on the map. And this is actually kind of like a geologic timeline. It's showing, Abraham, and he married Keturah and all the kids that she had, and Sarah, and she had Isaac, and Hagar had Ishmael. And it shows you down on the line, Sarah begot Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah got married, and they had Jacob and Esau. And Jacob married Zilpah, Leah, Rachel, and Bilhah, and the kids that they had. And we'll find out later on the story of Jacob, and how he really wanted to marry Rachel, but he was given Leah first. And it's actually interesting that Rachel did give Joseph, but Leah's the one that actually is the line of Jesus, the Messiah. So it's actually pretty interesting when you actually see that. Genesis 25:5. And Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, but unto the sons of concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward into the east of the country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 115 years. So he lived basically 175 years. And Abraham gave up the ghost, and he died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And it's really interesting, if you actually look at this Bible timeline, you can actually see that Shem, Selah, and Eber were still alive when Abraham died. Shem obviously is one of Noah's sons, and they were actually still alive when Abraham died. And the son Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which was before Mamre. If you remember that he actually got that cave for his wife Sarah, and so his kids buried him in the same cave. Verse 10, the field which Abraham purchased for the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well. And the well basically means the well of the one who lives in the seas. And you can actually see how it looks right here on the chart. And if you look at the map to the left, to the right there, you can actually see Lahairoi on the very, very bottom. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah, handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by the names according to the generations. The firstborn of Ishmael was Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Ebeline, and Mibsam, and Durham, and Massa, and Hadar, and Tema, and Jetur, and Naphish, and Tema. And these are the sons of Abraham, and they were in their names by their towns and their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of life of Ishmael, 137 years, who was 137. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And he dwelt in Havilah, in Shur, that is before Egypt, and thou goest to Syria. And he died in the presence of all of his brethren. You can actually see on the map right here, basically what happened. The land of Heva. And you can actually see on this little map right here, you have the wilderness of Shur and the wilderness of Etham. And it says that Havilah is actually Shur, so it's the top circle there. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, son of Padarah, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together with her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the other shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and he called his name Esau. And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Jacob was 80 years old when she bare them. Isaac was actually 60 when she bare both of them. And there's this little picture of people holding 2 babies. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sought pottage. And Esau came for the field, for he was faint. And Esau said unto Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with thy same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point of death. I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do unto me? So Esau's pretty much saying, I'm going to die unless you feed me, so I don't care about a birthright. And Jacob said, Swear unto me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. And this is just a little information about birthrights. A birthright is a particular right of possession or privilege that one has from birth. Traditionally, the eldest son would receive a birthright and assume the responsibilities of the head of the household after his father died. And he would also inherit the greater portion of his father's wealth and property. This birthright would also include the role of priest in the family. And from what I understand, usually the first son gets the birthright, and it's usually 2/3 of the inheritance, and then the other children get the 1/3. So it's really interesting that when Jacob came out, he was holding on to Esau's leg, almost like he was also born at the same time. And Esau didn't really care much about a birthright, so he sold it to him for some soup. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. And thus Esau despised his birthright. So I appreciate you guys following along with me for this Bible study. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the bell. Also like and comment, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.